19th to order at 5:30 p.m. Joining the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. With new business, approval of the October 5th, 2022 select meeting minutes. Can I have a motion?
I wasn't here.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Second that motion. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Approval of the October 9th 19th consent file that consists of review and signing manifest in the amount of $14,900.09. This includes payroll and accounts payable for 10/19/2022. Review, discuss, approve, deny a residential revolver license for the owner of 1546 Bald Hill Road. Review, discuss, and approve, deny local approval for construction of an individual sewage disposal system for map 6, lot 69, NH Route 16. I'll make a motion to approve the consent file.
Second?
Discussion? Any discussion? Call it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Review and discuss and approve and deny the signed permit application for 1974 and H Route 16. This was tabled at the 10/5/2022 Board of Selectmen meeting. So the application is for a sign on Route 16 that serves as a residential property. There's no business approved by the planning board for this property, therefore is being used solely residentially. Our ordinances don't allow for a sign. A primary sign shall be erected only on the business premise to which the sign pertains and shall be located far enough from the main thoroughfare to allow full line of sight for pedestrian vehicular traffic entering and exit the site, and shall not unduly obstruct the visibility of other signs or properties in the area. So I believe what's being applied for is a primary sign. And unfortunately, it just does not comply with our ordinance.
I believe our, something on our paperwork says it's
Residence.
commercial and.
Yes, it is.
But there's no business that lives there.
I've had a floor covering business out of there since we bought the house.
Was it approved by the town?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't brought customers and operated to this.
So in order to run a home occupation within the town or a home business, one of them has to be approved by the planning board. The other one would be approved by the zoning board of adjustment. So if none of that has happened before, the business actually does not exist according to the town. So therefore, we can't allow a sign.
So where do I start? What would you like me to do? Apply for business zoning, something?
You could probably start as you'll have to look at the zoning ordinances, either a home business or a home occupation. They're two different things and approved by two different boards.
Okay, now, another question. If I put my 500-gallon oil tank on a cement slab, do I have to be 25 feet off the setback, and do I have to go for zoning or whatever on that?
All structures need to meet this setbacks.
And taking into consideration of the neighbors? Because when you put the generator 8 feet outside our bedroom window, you didn't take us into consideration. And when you bought this property, you're supposed to reclaim the sand pit and make it a forest again. And why are people in here at 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night by themselves?
Okay.
Never mind.
Point of order, we're discussing the application here. So if you'd like to present something new,
Yeah, how do I design, how do I building zoning, what would you look like?
again, I would suggest that you go through our zoning ordinances and read about home occupation.
Do you have any paperwork on it or no?
I don't, it is available online on our website.
Okay, Be in
Either
touch.
home occupation or a home business.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you make a motion to deny the permit so that I can send? Yep. Because they may want the denial to apply, because they can apply for an appeal from an administrative rule from your decision
Sure.
or go to the.
Yeah.
So if I have an official denial, then I can send them the paperwork.
I will make a motion to deny the signed permit application for 1974 NH Route 16.
Second.
Discussion.
Can you make a note of the process below the denial? Just stating that she did make
That
them
I
aware of the process going forward if they did want to apply for.
Yeah, I'll send them this. I'll send them the sections of this.
Just
Because
say-
I don't.
I just suggested that he reads our ordinances and he has the ability to apply for home occupation or home business through the planning board or ZBA.
Who said the motion?
Kelly did. Any further discussion?
No, it's good cut and dry.
Yeah, yeah, I just hope that, they get to run their business and,
Well,
it is what it is,
I believe the
It's
business
not
has to
running
be,
It's not the running the business, he's been running the business for years.
Right,
It's
the signage, right?
The business, according to the town, doesn't live there, so therefore we
Yeah,
can't acknowledge it.
right.
Right.
Okay,
Call it to a vote, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Review, discuss, and decide on course of action regarding NHMA's letter on disposition of legal files. I read that, anything before, they keep files of every inquiry every town makes. And they're wondering, if we want those files, they're gonna get rid of, files before 2015. I don't think there's anything.
Interesting to have, because we have them on file here, we can decide whether we want to shred them or not, and there might be questions that have been asked in the past that we might. Because the stuff that goes through NHMA isn't generally specific legal stuff, it's more like broad, like, what do you do when you
Yeah.
don't have a supervisor at the checklist? What do
Right.
you do when you need to appoint a treasurer? What do you do? Like, those kind of questions, and, I mean, I don't know.
If anybody's gonna go through them, looking
But
for
you don't.
information.
I mean, I'm not married to either plan. If
Yeah.
you don't care if they get destroyed, I don't have to have them, but. So it's okay to not respond and let them destroy.
Yeah, I would say destroy them because
Destroy them.
keeping them would only mean more responsibility on us.
Town administrator report.
So I just wanted to remind you guys that the November meetings will be on 11/9 and 11/30. The 9th is the meeting, the 30th will be back a week because of Thanksgiving. I tried to schedule that public hearing we need to have on the quieting the deed for the 30th.
Okay.
Because I think I have enough time. I gotta talk to Matt Sir to make sure I notice it properly.
Right.
I'm gonna try to do that on the 30th so we can try to wrap up a good portion, because we can use the money. And then I just wanted to touch base with you guys about how you want to do the setting the tax rate. So it's generally DRA, it falls in between meetings. So rather than holding up the tax rate, usually what I do is I send out an email with some choices of, how much surplus there's not too much that we do. The budget is the budget, the revenue is the revenue, the school rate is the school rate, the county. So, but there are a couple things we do, you can affect, and one of them is how much is used from unassigned fund balance to reduce the rate. I think we're gonna have a pretty good tax rate this year because I think the school went down a little bit too. But this is more about the process. So I talked to DRA yesterday, she set a few tax rates. Carroll County is not done. The person that has to sign the MS-45 is out of town until at least Saturday. So they won't even have the county stuff done until next week. The village and the local school is done. She just has to touch base with them. She's usually pretty good. She knows I only work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so she's usually pretty good about that, but she's not sure she'll get Carroll County by Monday or Tuesday. so it may be another week. I just wanted to see if you guys are okay with the process of generally like sending you the worksheets. I think you've seen them before, filling in an amount of surplus and then pulling you all separately on what you think. And when I get a consensus, the three of you agree to something. Last year we had $439,000 in unassigned fund balance. This year it's $440,000, almost the exact same amount. We also had a warrant article last year that took $50,000 from December 31st fund balance, $50,000 to pave roads. We did the same thing this year, so that's the same. And then what your decision was, the board's decision was last year was to put $100,000 towards reducing the tax rate. And that left us at about 12.5%. So DRA likes to see our unassigned fund balance somewhere between 5 and 17%. So 12.5 is kind of sweet spot right there. So all other things being equal, what I do is I figured out 50,000 a surplus, 100,000 and 150,000, and then tell you guys what that would be. And then if you would all answer me separately and not reply all, then we can get a tax rate. You don't have to sign, believe it or not, you don't have to sign off on anything. I file all the stuff on the portal, but obviously you make the decision. So, and the only other number that we set is overlay, which is money that's set aside to help us pay for like big abatements. Like if we knew Eversource was asking for a $2 million abatement or something, we would beef up our overlay to make sure we had enough to cover it. But generally we get a couple of abatements a year and they're a few $100. So more what we do with overlay is set it so that it kind of rounds that number out, you know, so that you don't have half a cent. You can't set a tax rate for $12.40.50. So we kind of just use it for that. But I will share that number with you as well. Does that work for you guys? It's a pretty common way to do it.
I have no problem meeting either if you guys would prefer to discuss the unreserved fund balance and how much to use.
I mean, if when you see the numbers, if they're like nothing you understand and you're like, why did it go up so much, or why did it go, then certainly call a meeting with 24 hours notice. It would be, you know, a 20-minute meeting to lay out numbers and stuff, but I don't think there's going to be any huge surprises.
No, doesn't sound like it.
But again, if there are, then we'll just have a meeting. And the thing is, the sooner we set the tax rate, the sooner the bills can be printed, the sooner we get cash flow in. Obviously, billing twice this year, our cash flow is way better than it was. Usually, you know, when you bill once a year, you're kind of really needing the money by December. So,
Just maybe a stupid question. How would a fire department increase affect, or would it?
well, it doesn't affect anything to do with this year's tax rate. That will affect next year's tax rate because that'll be the budget we're voting on in March. $30,000 isn't a huge hit, but yeah, I mean, it'll have an effect.
Yeah.
Any increase, it won't just be that increases, you know. I think
reduce something else.
Right.
I think you're gonna see, you know,
What about the tech? Didn't the tech go down because of won't the tech go down next year because of the grant?
well, we paid for all the hardware,
Okay,
but that's a $5,000 every year.
okay, all right.
Maintenance, you know, we're basically on a,
The roads, like the
Oh,
warrant
gotcha.
article, all the warrant articles for the roads.
Okay.
He's in pretty good shape right
Mhm.
now. We could reduce that by whatever, $30,000 next year,
Next.
not this year. This
Right.
year, we're all done
So
basically.
that sounds fine with me. It's good, cut and dry. And I don't,
I think you're gonna
Yeah.
see a lot of increases in the 2023 budget just because cost of gas, cost of
Inflation.
fuel. I'm afraid to even see what the fuel oil and the propane are gonna be. I'm afraid to,
Mm.
I don't want to know.
and
Um,
electricity.
Yeah, well, yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Nothing is cheaper, but the tax rate that we're setting right now is this year's tax rate based on this year's budget. And so
Okay.
that is a problem for another day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if that works for you guys, like I said, I'll send it out. If you're like dumbstruck by it, then just go ahead and call me.
Sure.
Or we'll just figure it out.
Sounds good.
Okay? Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Appointments, public hearing, we had an appointment at 5:45 with Chief Solomon. This has been postponed to our next meeting on November 9th. Old Business Chapel Historical Society, see email from town attorney with the next steps, including holding a public hearing. So Kelly has informed us that she'd like to schedule that by 11:30 meeting, and we'll go through that process.
Okay.
And then we can maybe put numbers together for the sequel for next year. Federal Land Access Program, review email from Josh McAllister. He sent to US DOT Program Manager on 10/3.
I haven't heard anything about response. I'm sure it'll be a minute.
Other business board reports, planning board. There was a meeting last Monday on the holiday. I was not present, I was out of town. But there was I think it was a public hearing for, it wasn't a subdivision, it was for preliminary.
So I
Site plan
sent him to the
review.
planning board because he has 2 dwellings on one house, and he, it doesn't meet our zoning requirements, and it used to be a business.
Right.
I guess it was a residence a long, long time ago, but it had more recently been a snack bar / ice cream stand. When they purchased it in 2018, they did a bunch of work on it because our card clearly says that it was not habitable. So they did a bunch of work on it with no building permit, so there was nothing that would have triggered us knowing that they were using it as another dwelling. So it's 0.8 acres, and it's got 2 dwellings on it now, and what kicked this off, I think I brought this to you a little bit, just as a aside before I went to the planning board. What kicked this off was an appraiser called me about whether this met our zoning, and I said, no, because it had that met our zoning. It had a business, the ice cream stand or snack shack was a business, and then it had a dwelling.
Right.
That was allowed.
Yes.
And I assume they went before the planning board or they were grandfathered, but the 2 dwellings don't. And
That was a business before ordinances even came into play.
so it was kind of pre-existing, non-conforming, but now.
Not as a residence though, it was a business.
Right, so now they've turned it into a residence, and that's just, and the problem is, it's a hardship for them, but it's a hardship for the town if everybody with 0.8 acres is allowed to have 2 houses on their lots. So I didn't understand from the planning board whether he was going to come to the board of selectmen. You don't have any action before you to deny anything.
Right, so I believe they referred him over to the zoning board of adjustment for a variance.
So should I make contact with him about that, or should I just wait for him to call?
I
and let me
think
know, because Sean is the
ZBA.
ZBA secretary as well.
Right, so I think it's back in their court to
Okay.
do something about it
Okay.
personally. Other than that, they didn't have a busy meeting. Anything else from anybody? No.
I don't know if we want to talk about Kelly brought up a good point about the response cards.
Replies to the
yes.
survey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a big response.
I mean, I think the fact that they aren't, already
Pre-stamped.
pre-stamped,
That's
yes,
the big-
thank you.
That's the first thing they asked when I saw
Yeah,
them.
that was a big deal, yeah.
If they had gotten them to me in advance, I would have gone out and bought postcard stamps and stamped them. They show up 20 minutes
But,
before the
you
meeting, and,
They could have done that too.
oh, true. But I don't know how to reach out. I mean, Dorothy put something in her column and asked people.
Yeah, except that I can't swear that it'll get in time, there's a time restriction.
Right. I mean, I can run an ad in the Conway Daily Sun, but I am kind of loath to do that because they really want residents, not Conway's
Right.
opinion, not Madison's, this
Correct.
is really
They want more,
for Albany to decide now.
they want more input than what was offered at the DOT meeting.
Well, they're just saying that they think that the people that came to the meeting will skew the answers.
Oh.
They're not sure that the whole, they're not sure that the whole town was represented by just that meeting. That the people that attended had very clear important
Agenda.
things on their mind, but is that the whole town, like, I think they just don't want to miss other concerns, and they want to make sure they're all fairly represented, and that there's a good cross-section of the town that got to be, that's what.
I don't think this will
information
work, but would that postcard fit in an envelope? If so, Sandy could send one out with every tax bill.
Ooh,
It's a good question.
If not,
means. Yeah, they can
Make
print,
something,
they said,
yeah.
they've got a print shop, they get all those nice copies made for $7.
Yeah.
So they could make something that would fit in an envelope. And then have her stuff that in the, is that allowed?
Yes,
Are
it
you allowed to
is.
put anything in the tax bill that you want?
Yeah.
I've never. All right, well, let me ping him and see if that's too late. Because if they don't go out until the second week of November, I don't know, he's a constraint on time here, but when he asked Jason if he's okay with waiting, that's an excellent way to reach, although I wonder, should we just send it to the people who have mailing addresses in town? Because then you're gonna get the Massachusetts and Rhode Island and you're not getting sent it to everybody.
It takes long enough to stuff those envelopes, just put them in everyone.
Okay.
They own the property.
Do you want me to stamp them, or would that raise a hoo-ha because other people didn't get theirs?
That's,
how do tax bills usually come back? Do they send it in?
So if you want a receipt, you need to send your check with a self-addressed stamped envelope.
I thought if they sent it, they
Right.
can send it back and do one mail stuff with all.
Or or if there was somewhere online, they could just do an online survey.
Yeah, that's up to them.
That's up to them.
Qualtronics or
Right.
Monkey, so, you know.
Right, but then they could
Survey
put the
monkey.
address in there.
right, but
Yeah.
that could be on the postcard too, if they put it up on, say, Survey Monkey.
Yeah.
That could be on the postcard too, if you'd like to complete this electronically, visit the website. I don't know, just ideas.
Okay. Yeah, if he can wait that long to get responses, then I have no issue with that. And I'll just let her know that it's the selectmen's request, and it's a good idea.
Alrighty, review and discuss, and anything else?
I was just gonna say, I see them sending a letter for the speed survey.
We signed it.
Yep, I said that's good.
Oh,
Yeah, it was already decided last week, so I didn't put it on the agenda.
No, that's great.
I'll get that out tomorrow and send Jason a copy. He has to be scanned.
review and discuss NT email for health, dental, disability, and life insurance for 2023. This is rate going up.
Yeah, this is both, well, yeah, a lot. And I don't think there's anything we can do about it, really. But this is a not to exceed number. So because we renew on July 1st, they revisit out in March and let us know what our number is. So there is a possibility, I asked them how often that number goes down, and have an answer for me, but there is chance that it could go down, but that is a not to exceed number. The same thing with the workers' comp and property liability. Those are all, because all of our renewals are July 1st, they're not to exceed numbers. And the workers' comp went down $8.
Ooh, we'll take it.
1%, take it.
Public comment?
Yes. First, I want the selectmen to be aware that Cindy
Carboni.
Carboni has left the supervisors of the checklist that she's moving,
Yes.
and Barbara Alkali has accepted this spot.
Oh, perfect.
Excellent.
Good to hear. Good news.
So we are back to our regular schedule. I don't even know if everybody here knows what happened to Albany with regard to in terms of vote of the vote. We are now District 2. Not District 1 anymore, we are now District 2. Right? And given that, perhaps it would be some help and something good for the poor of Albany to have some sort of meeting in which they could, the change could be explained and what it means, the people who are running, because I don't think that people in Albany necessarily know who's running anymore.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I've asked questions and I haven't got a good answer yet.
So
We're kind of in limbo.
would you, on the board, be amenable to having a meeting to explain District 2? And it could be a political meeting. You have those people who are running for office at the meeting. But would this be something that the board would accept?
And who's going to explain it?
Yeah, because I
it's not
certainly
going to
can't
be me.
explain it. I can explain exactly the districting,
How
redistricting.
So how about if we had people who are running for office explain what the district is? Or if not running for office, who are politically knowledgeable for what, just have a District 2 understanding.
So would it be like the candidates introduce themselves and?
Could be.
So we
That's-
candidates night.
Yeah, if that's something that, and you don't have to, unfortunately.
We don't have very much
we don't have
time.
much time.
Not a lot of time.
But if,
Well, it's not just that either, you wanna be careful that, because if all the Democrats show up
Right.
and the Republicans, there's gonna be a
Right.
thing that the Board of Selectmen is skewing to the Democrat or out. Like, these, usually the libraries run these,
Yeah.
the voters groups run these, not the Board of Selectmen. So I just caution you that if you're gonna do that before November 8th, you have a very limited amount of time, and you have to make sure that it's equally represented, or you're going to get.
It seems
I
like
personally don't have the time to
Yeah.
put into it. I'm at the beginning of my busy season. As a matter of fact, I have to be here really soon to go to another meeting. Honestly, I have even the brain energy to put it together. It just, I'm super busy right now.
It seems like it would, like Kelly was saying, would be a mistake to have something like that here because of the, possibility of favoritism happening or what have you.
We did but do it years ago at the direction of that Board of Selectmen, but it worked out okay, but it's just so.
suppose you had the people running for office set it up on both sides.
Who's going to,
If
who's
you-
gonna take care of that, though?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm in the throes of budget and setting a tax rate, you're,
I am.
like, that's 2
Would
weeks.
it have to be here? Could it be somewhere else, like somewhere close by that,
Oh, you mean other than this building?
yeah.
But where?
I don't think it's the building, lots
Yeah.
of people use the building, it's who's going to do it, who's
Right.
gonna call. Like, just getting this thing for the DOT informational meeting, the people I contacted, it took me, I had a month to
Yeah.
work on that, and it took me all of that month to hear back and get all those people lined up, like,
What if we have maybe if we put together a list of District 2 and have contact information somewhere, maybe we can post it on a bulletin or post it somewhere
I
where,
mean, it's
People can-
something that Sandy is our, she's the town clerk, and that goes through her, so
Yeah.
she should have
salad, so that she, I don't know, she
Who's
posted
running
a
it?
sample, I used to post a sample and
She doesn't
Put
give
it
me
on the
anything from the website. I've had a lot of questions from people whose kids are turning 18, how do you register? I asked her if she has anything for me to put on the website, and she hasn't provided anything.
I mean, that could be something we could provide to the Albany residents. Perhaps there's somewhere online we could find information about the redistricting. I mean, of course, the New Hampshire state, will have.
I can't do that before.
I know, of course. I'm not saying this should be on your shoulders. I'm just saying it's a suggestion of putting it out there if maybe perhaps you know somebody or.
Again, it should go on the election page. It should go on the town clerk's election page. That would be where people would look for it, I would think. The sample ballot,
Yeah.
It's a tough one. You don't know what kind of response you get at this point. I'm sure they're all busy. I don't think we get a showing for it at this point. We tried to do it. It's true.
I can't. I'll go cuckoo. Here I am.
I don't know what to do, Dorothy.
Yeah.
I'd love to know. I'm gonna figure it out, but
I don't know. I mean, like I said, if there's more suggestions, and it's safe for me to, take something on, like just printing something. I could certainly help with that if, the town clerk is having trouble, keeping up or, just putting it out there. I can do my best to help, but it doesn't sound like there's any possible way we could put together a forum, or not a forum, but a public meeting with District 2
no, I'm
reps.
actually surprised that since the districting has changed, that none of the people running expressed any interest in
Yeah.
meeting their constituents in their new District 2. Like,
Right.
that's kind of,
That's where I got it from.
Oh,
Somebody was
wow.
well, then they should do the work.
Mm,
Like, if they want votes, then they should be the ones reaching out and trying to set up a candidates night.
that, I shouldn't say they will, or he or she will. But if they or he or she wanted to set up this meeting, would the building be available?
Maybe. At the end, I mean, they can use the building as a nonprofit and we'll provide them a key. I won't be here. I mean,
Right.
I can't promise that I'll be here, but
Right.
like,
I
maybe.
yeah, this starts months in advance
Right.
and, there's time to deal with it. And again, if the Board of Selectmen is the one hosting it or recommending it, then it has to have an equal number of Democrats and Republicans, because they kind of stay out of the whole campaigning, generally. I mean,
Yeah.
unless you want a campaign, if you guys want a campaign.
Not particularly, I still don't know who I'm voting for.
I believe we have one candidate at the road meeting. I believe.
Mm.
A new one?
Yeah. But I don't know what to do about it.
I guess. Yeah, just a big maybe and no answer, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
So
I just don't know a way to do it that is,
If the candidate on each side were to, say, they would do the work in terms of getting the information out there, would that be acceptable to use the building for that purpose?
anybody can fill out a rental form for a public building. And I'll issue them a key and I'm sure the board will waive the fee
Yeah.
and
And I could more than likely.
then they return the key and, I mean,
You're just not allowed to set the alarm.
or lock the door. Yeah, I mean, anybody can,
But in the meantime, we should be posting something about the candidates, right?
no, I've never in 30
Sample
years.
ballot.
Yes.
I've never, I
That's
gotta
what I
tell you,
mean.
in 30
Sample
years of being
ballot.
a town administrator, I've never
Not
had Board of
Sample.
Selectmen get involved. Yeah, the sample
Sample
ballot gets
ballot.
posted on the website and
Okay.
generally in the building, I think it has to be the day of the election posted here so that people can look at it before they go in to vote, but yeah, I've never seen a select board, and you said it's been done here before, but I haven't ever.
yeah.
It's usually the library or,
So the sample ballot will be on the website.
if I can't put up what I don't have,
Okay.
I sent her the email about how to register to vote. The supervisors, the checklist, I believe, have to hold a session before November 8th for registered voters. I haven't gotten that to put on the website. I don't know if they're having that session. Dorothy, you would probably know.
Nobody's told me about it.
By law, you're required to have a session before 11/8. And it should have been a date Conway Sun, and it should be on our website. But nobody's provided me with anything. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to put it, but and again, I work Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, so getting it to me on Thursday for a meeting on Monday, I won't even see it before the meeting, so I'm happy to do it, but I gotta have it to do it.
Okay, so the supervisors checkers have to have a meeting.
You have to hold a session to register voters before 11/8. Before the primary, you had to have one, before town meeting, I believe you have to have one, before the federal elections, you have to have one. And it's prescribed by law when it has to be. Sometimes it's 3 to 5 on a Friday, it's a Saturday.
No, it's either Tuesday night, 7 to 7:30, or Saturday, 11 to 11:30. But they have changed the parameters on that, so you really have to look at the Secretary of State's website.
You'll also know other towns will start showing them. That's how I know that we're not doing it, because I see everybody's ad on in the Conway Daily Sun of, we're holding a session, blah, 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 Madison, Ossipee and Effingham, and it's like, why Albany didn't post one? So I don't know what it is.
Does she know, would the clerk know?
I have no idea.
Probably not, because it's the responsibility of the supervisors of the checklist. It may not be in her. Cindy Carboni would have known. She held the last one, and she's the only one that showed up. 2 out of 3 of the supervisors are supposed to be there.
Yeah.
She's the only one that showed up for the last one.
Really? I didn't know about it. Could be one of the reasons. Okay.
Anything else, Dawn?
Right now, no, I'm just deal with this.
All right, non-public session under 91A3, 2 as necessary. Anything tonight? No. Next meeting is November 9th, 2022 at 5:30 PM at the Albany Town Hall.
On that note, we're not meeting before November 8th. So we get a,
Oh, yes, you have to divvy up the election.
I'm gonna do a half day in the afternoon again.
What day is it on? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah, whatever you need.
can you do the morning, like,
Sure.
and I'll get here. I have my meeting that you have on Tuesdays, but
Perfect.
So you're doing 8 to noon, you're doing 4, and you're doing 8, or you're doing 4 to 8?
you can do 4. Well, I'm gonna be here all day. I'll do 11 to whatever.
Well, Ed Elkley will ask me, so I try to send him.
Being this is a big election, I think, more coverage the better, so we're overlapping, it's gonna be a good thing.
Okay, but for sure, Jen's gonna be here in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll be here at 11.
You're gonna be here at 11 to at least 4,
Yes.
I can come
or 5 to close,
like 1 o'clock.
1 to
Yeah.
close.
We'll overlap.
Thank you for rereading. I
Yeah.
forgot all about that.
That was a good one.
Yeah, finally.
11/8 is coming
Make up
fast.
the amount.
When's the next meeting?
11/9.
11/9,
November 9th,
Oh,
the day after.
because they're glutons for punishment.
Anything else?
Oh, no.
I will make a motion to adjourn at 6:09 PM.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all in favor? Yeah,
Yay. Thumbs up.
Absolutely.
two thumbs up.